What's good? God is good. I'm your host, Jay Did It. Welcome to Thursday Therapies, a podcast for all creatives, writers, rappers, poets, artists, activists, Sacramento community therapy session. Today we have Dr. Pepper's Karaoke Band, a Sacramento-based singer, songwriter, educator, and mental health advocate whose journey spans from early musical inspiration to working in Hollywood in the California prison system. Influenced by legends like Stevie Wonder, Bob Marley, she blends creativity, education, and lived experience to inspire others through music, storytelling, and healing. A former substitute teacher of 18 years, she uses lyrics, poetry, and performance to teach self-expression and emotional awareness. Through her platform, Dr. Pepper's Karaoke's Band, she champions mental health, purpose, and the power of owning your story at every stage of life. Welcome to Thursday Therapies. How you doing?
That was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so
You're welcome.
much. You
You're
told my
welcome.
whole story
Yes,
there.
I love
I
it.
don't have to
love
say
it.
anything. I can just sit back.
That's right. That's right. So, welcome to Thursday Therapies. How you doing?
Thank you, Jamie. I am Black, blessed, and highly favored.
That's right. That's right. Yes, you are. So thank you for coming on Thursday Therapies. We met in the community and we've been having conversations, off of the set. And I really, really just want to let people know you got an amazing story. You lived some time and you've met some people in the industry. And
yes, I have.
You've done a lot of things, worked in the prison systems, in the school system, all that. So I really want to ask you some questions, get to know you, let the world get to know you, and bring more awareness to mental health through your art and creativeness.
Yes. Yeah. So as you see here, I have quite the collection
of you do.
Albums, vinyl. All these entertainers were important in my journey, and so we'll get started.
That's right. So what did music mean to you growing up?
Okay, so I studied classical violin all through school.
Nice.
Played orchestras and everything. Played the violin, and so we would have to rehearse for 30 minutes every day, and then I would turn it into a guitar because that's the instrument that I really, really loved.
Okay.
I considered myself a Black rock and roll star.
Nice.
Okay. And it all begins inside the mind. But I studied, violin, and I also play the harmonica.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that.
And I studied piano, guitar, violin, but my favorite thing is singing, songwriting, poetry, and expressing myself on stage. Nice. Because so many other people play those instruments, better than I do. So, but then no one can and be me except for me. So,
that's right. Yeah. And express yourself. You do it very well. So how did your mother influence your love for music?
Our mother sang in college. She graduated from Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. She was the first person in her family to graduate from high school and from college.
Nice.
And so she always played music, and I also stutter. This is a disability that I have. So yeah, so we as teenagers, she bought us all the Jackson 5 albums, and so we had parties every weekend, and that is when I really fell in love with the entertainment business.
Okay. Nice. I remember back in the days when I was younger too, all I wanted to do was sing. I remember singing on my grandmother's front porch, singing all the music, and just feeling it in my body and just feeling like I could be something else. Did you feel that same way?
Thursday Therapies. Yes, yes, yeah.
When did you
Yeah.
realize that you were different in your creativity?
I was not different. I was the same as all these artists that I have here. This is Donna Summer. I met Rick James.
Okay.
I dated Kenny from Rolls Royce. He sang I wanna get next to you.
That's
Actually,
right. That's right.
honestly, we didn't date. We had sex one time.
Oh. Wait.
And
Okay.
yeah, so my favorite person that I met when I worked in Hollywood at the Hollywood motor vehicle department was Stevie Wonder. So songwriting, he's my number one favorite
Nice.
lyricist, and
Yes.
if I could teach a college course, I would teach it on Stevie Wonder's lyrics,
Nice.
and I also encourage people to read all the biographies that they can, study other people's songwriting styles,
Okay.
because I think there's a pattern, and yeah, so yeah, I'm not different. I'm not special. Well, I'm kind of special ed, but I'm not like um, I am Aquarius.
Okay.
When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace will guide the planets, and love will steer stars. And if you understand astrology,
Yes.
then I am the quintessential Aquarius.
I love that. Yes.
Full of love, just different, an unconventional thinker.
Yes.
And yeah, so I was very, very blessed when I moved to Hollywood to meet all of these celebrities here.
Okay.
And do you remember Bobby Womack?
Yes, I remember Bobby
And
Womack.
let me tell you, like a true Hollywood Bobby Womack story. Okay, so I typed driver's licenses there.
Okay.
At the Hollywood Motor Vehicle Department, which is how I met Steve and some of these other people. So Bobby Womack's maybe second wife and third wife came in there for her driver license, and so at the Hollywood Motor Vehicle Department, I was there from 1978, let's say, through 1980, let's say. And there's a pregnant woman, black woman in my line. And so I would always let the pregnant people come up to the front. I would let all the celebrities get in front of everyone else. Yes, I did. All of us did. The managers there, we would get tickets to their concerts.
Oh wow.
And invited to their football games, and to their parties, And so yes, and so she was pregnant, and I didn't know who she was, typed her driver license, gave it to her, whatever, and then she came back 5 months later with a stack of Bobby Womack albums,
Oh, wow.
and tied up with a red bow. And she said, "Pepper,
I love that.
I am Bobby Womack's wife. I was pregnant. I was gonna cry now. I was pregnant. When I came in, you treated me so well,
Oh,
and
wow.
so Bobby wants you to have all these albums. Maybe 5 or 6 albums. Yeah.
That's an amazing story. Thank you so much for
Yeah, and I
sharing
have a
that.
thousand
Thank
more.
you. Thank you so much. So, you do have 1,000 more. Here's another one. What impact did seeing Michael Jackson live have on you?
Okay, so I did not see Michael Jackson live. I did not.
Okay.
Okay, and this is what happened. Well, then, sort of, yeah. So, okay, I met Steve, which is what his friends call him. No one calls him, Stevie Wonder. Okay, and this is a drawing that I made, and I take to the schools with me when I teach. So, okay, so I met Steve because my boyfriend is cousins with um, Penny, and she's married to Dennis, and so Dennis is in the Cool and the Gang band. So um, and so their road manager is Charlie Collins, and Charlie at that time was also Stevie Wonder's road manager, and so um, and and Charlie's driver license had expired, and so he needed um, a a new driver license, right? So I didn't make him pay for it, nothing. It was free. We could do everything. Our friends that were 16 years old, 17, 18, and they would come to the Hollywood, motor vehicle department. We would give them, driver license, saying that they're 21.
Yeah, things change now. You can't
Honey,
do that
honey,
no
honey.
more.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So Charlie thanked me by, becoming my friend. There was no sex, nothing like that. Just like an uncle to me. Just very, very, very loving, positive, moral person. So he was talking to Stevie, one day over the phone, and so I stutter and I get kind of nervous, over the phone, and so Charlie said, "Pepper, Steve is on the other line. Do you want to talk to him?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to talk to Stevie Wonder." I'll stutter and sputter. I don't care. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So and so Steve thanked me for helping Charlie, with his driver license, and then Steve asked me to do the same for him, because Steve drives. Well, he used to drive, before he crashed
Before he crashed.
his car, Calvin,
Mm.
and that's his brother's name. Anyway, yeah. So okay, so we were friends, and I would go to Steve's, recording studio, and so I got married to Carlos Ochoa from Ecuador, South America, and then we moved to New York, and I went to college there, Jersey City State College, and so Steve was performing at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
And so he was on stage, performing, and then I was backstage with my husband Carlos, and so Steve said, one of my good friends is back here. He would like to come out, like to say hello to everyone. And at that moment, Michael Jackson ran right past me. He was tall, light skin, thin, just beautiful. I was like, oh, I just screamed. I said, there's Michael. There he is. There he is. So I fangirled out, and I could have, and I could have met him, because we were backstage, which is like the best place to be, and so there was a door with a lot of people, lined up, behind the door, and so I said, Charlie, who is behind that door? And so he said, Michael Jackson. And if you want to, you can meet him. I said, well, okay. I said, well, no, that's okay. I'm here for a prestige, performance. I don't know. I just felt weird. So I could have waited in that line.
Yeah.
And then had like a one, up. Mental health. Isn't this all about mental health? And our heroes, our actors, musicians, entertainers need mental health.
Right. We here for you.
So let's kind of go back to that.
Let's move on to the next question. What inspired you to move to Hollywood?
So my dad had a business down there in Inglewood called the Soul Brothers Kitchen. Mm-hmm. I was born right here at Mather Air Force Base, and so my parents divorced, like when we were younger, and then Dad remarried, and so we would go down to Inglewood for the summers, like to visit him. And I always hated Sacramento, these boring country people, and it was just backwards to me because I grew up watching all the talk shows. I'm very, very open-minded,
right.
mentally, and Sacramento was like a little cowboy backwards town, but LA had Disneyland, Universal Studios, Knox Berry Farm, beaches, all of my entertainers lived there. So why am I stuck here in Sacramento? And so that's the reason that I left. Yeah.
You want
more
I got excitement. That. You need something,
girl,
some
I needed to. Like entertainment business, movies and stuff. And then my sister here, Diane Shelton.
Shout out Diane.
Sister.
All right.
Yeah. So then she always got the lead roles, like in plays here. She's very, very talented actress. And my nephew, Anthony DeWan, I don't know, like if you've heard of him, very, very talented writer, director, and actor here. And so he teaches at Cosumnes River College now. Okay. Yeah, so I had to get out of here because I was just bored.
Oh, okay. You always had a passion. You needed more excitement. You had a passion for acting, singing.
Well,
life.
I was very, very shy because I stutter. But when I lived in New York, I met a photographer for Jet magazine, and so he photographed all the centerfold models, and his name was Kwame Brathwaite, And so he said, Pepper, you could model your short, but but you're photogenic.
Nice.
But I was just very shy. I was like, oh no. And so, so I I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a model. I didn't want to be. I said no. But but the opportunity to be an extra in music videos.
That's right.
Was my ticket, because I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to memorize lines, or
Yeah.
I would just walk, look across,
That's right. That's
like,
right.
So
that's my next question. How did being a music video shape your confidence?
I don't know. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so the first music video I am in. Google it, please. Go
Google it, please.
YouTube, Grandmaster Flash. We Got Style.
Okay, that's
so
right.
I am in that music video. There's 4 African American women with dreads sitting there in the on the chairs there, and so they were my girlfriends, my friends. We bonded over over marijuana and Bob Marley, and we were parents. We were mothers, and so I was signed to a extra company, and so they would find me jobs and stuff.
Nice.
As an extra, and all the Grandmaster Flash artists were gentlemen and professional. This was in, I think, 83, 84. Yeah, so wow. And so that was when rap was an expression of your life, childhood, trauma, joys, yeah. And so they would take beats from different famous songs, and then change the other words, or add sample. Yeah. Nice. So I was also in 2 of George Clinton's videos. Do Fries Go With That Shape, and the other one I forgot what it's called. But yeah, it how well, with the confidence, I don't know. So, and this is what it is too. I am dark skinned. All my siblings are light skinned women. So I grew up feeling, different. Yeah. And so I did get, confidence from getting jobs. Yeah. Being chosen, and what do they call it now? Pick me, like a pick me girl. Because no one picked me before. Now they're picking me. Good. Nice. So nice. Yeah.
So how has creativity helped you navigate life's challenges?
Working with creative people, reading, loving all kinds of music, and I also love Taylor Swift too.
Okay.
Taylor, she's a prolific songwriter, and she writes about love and hate and dating and betrayal, jealousy, and just men, relationships, right? Okay. Are, and she's kissed so many frogs, and now she found her
Prince.
Prince.
Okay.
And I also love Cardi B and Cardi's story. Yeah, so I've always been a voracious reader of other people's lives. I used to watch Oprah, of course, and Sally Jesse Raphael, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Ricky Lake, and I am fascinated by people's mental health journeys, and many celebrities, actors, athletes, musicians have two sides to them.
Right.
So it's like with certain artists, you love their
creativity.
Yeah, but their personal lives and some mistakes, make you just question them.
Yeah, but we're all human. It's okay, and that's what growth is about. That's what we're here for. That's why we're bringing awareness to mental health on Thursday Therapies. That's why we're listening to your story, because we all go through our own journeys, and we all have ups and downs and struggles, and we try to overcome them and heal from them. And that's what life is about. We're all living a human experience.
But do you think everybody knows that they need mental health?
That's why we have Thursday Therapies. We're trying to bring more awareness to mental health.
So
We want everybody to know. We want people to check themselves, check their mental health. That's what we're here doing.
Yeah.
We have to pave the way. We're here to make a difference, because some people don't know. They don't know. And that's why we're here today and sharing lived experiences for people to know that it's okay to get help. It's okay to get help.
Have you gotten help?
Absolutely.
And have you gotten therapy?
And
what have you
absolutely every
overcome?
week I speak to my therapist every week. Yes, I do, and I have multiple support groups that I attend to. I go to church faithfully on Sunday night. Yes, I do. And that's what life is about. It's about community and engaging in community and asking for help. It takes a village. It definitely takes a village.
What about people that make the same mistake over and over? But I love Cardi. I don't care. She can go back to step 5. And I'm glad that when Offset was shot, that she went to the hospital.
Be human.
And paid his.
That's right, because we're
his
human.
bill.
We all got big hearts.
Yeah. So
we all got big hearts.
I love her.
I love it. Yes, we love Cardi B. Yes,
and that's what I should have done.
That's okay. We all lived many lives. Absolutely, just like you. You've lived many lives. Let's move on to the next question. So, you were in education. You were in education, serving, giving back, teaching the youth, and you know what life's about. What made you bring music into the classroom? Because your creativity, your style, who you are, your authenticity is amazing, and it's easy.
I love you. Can I take you home? I'm into it. Yes. Can I come to some of your meetings?
Yes. Yes, you can. Please come.
Sometimes, you wonder, what is it, me or is it them?
Right.
I think it's them. I'm okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I've always loved criminal justice, right? Law enforcement, and politics, because we've seen, when I worked at San Quentin State Prison, one of the inmates there, of course, he's Black, African American. He had been in prison for possession of like 2 marijuana cigarettes. He'd done 30 years for that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, all of you OGs, Gen Zs, Gen X, millennials, when I go to Walmart, I can smell the marijuana coming off you. Everybody's smoking it. I'm like, so when you live long enough, laws will evolve,
right?
And they'll change. And so what was your question? Because
my question was,
I have smoked too much marijuana in the past. What's your
My question was,
it's about education.
what made you bring
Okay, yeah.
music into the classroom
Music.
while you were teaching?
Yeah, so I finished my teacher credential at National University in 1997. And at that time, our favorite rappers were Tupac and Will Smith. Okay, so I'm here, like in Sacramento, at these unenlightened schools with these people. And I said, well, let me bring my karaoke machine. Karaoke is a Japanese word. Kara means empty. Oke means orchestra. And it means to sing without an orchestra. So I would bring my Will Smith CDs to the classroom with me, and karaoke CDs, and all the teachers and the parents loved Will Smith because his lyrics were, entertaining and lighthearted. He told stories. There was no cursing, nothing like that. But of course, my students loved Biggie, Tupac, and so. And they would say, Miss Pepper, why don't you play some Tupac? I said, because I need a job and I'm a substitute. And,
Right.
we can listen to that after school. But, yeah, so I also love country music.
Yeah.
Any song that tells like a story, nursery rhymes too. And that's where everything starts.
Right.
With the little children. Yeah, so what made me start bringing karaoke? Let me tell you the truth. Okay, so I was going through my second divorce and I was just heartbroken. And so I would go out to all the bars in Rancho Cordova and talk to the owners and encourage them to hire KJs. And a KJ is like a DJ, but it's for karaoke. I said, you have more people in your bar, it'll be more fun, because this is just boring, just sitting drinking and talking to people. I said, that's boring. Yeah, so I when I started, substituting, that is what I did. I would bring my karaoke machine into the classroom and with the permission from the principal. Sometimes I taught language arts, and so learning how to read with the lyrics, right there, and then learning rhyming, spelling, and culture, and rhythm. That's like the best way to teach children. Also, lastly, okay, as a stutterer, I admired Mel Tillis. You remember him?
I don't.
Yeah, so he is a very, very famous white stutterer and a country singer.
Okay.
And so he could sing beautifully, never stuttered when he sang. And yeah, so so I yeah, so that's what I did, and I was very, very popular, very, very famous. Everybody knew me, and yeah, so I could use it. And I also used it for the future comedians, because a lot of kids, when they see like a microphone, they're like, hell yeah, Miss Pepper, I want to come up, I want to tell a joke, this or that, because I absolutely love comedy too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so
So yeah, that's amazing. I would have loved to sit in one of your classes.
Oh,
Be
yes.
engaged with music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to the next, the prison
Okay.
system. You said you worked in the prison
Yes.
system. So what did working in the prison
Yes.
system teach you about human behavior?
My boy Rick, let's talk about Rick James. Oh, bitch. Okay,
Be nice, okay?
I
She
love
said,
Rick.
let's talk
No.
about Rick James,
My
bitch.
one of my best friends used to date Rick.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I was friends with Stevie Wonder, and she dated Rick, right? And then she broke up with him to date his coke dealer. Okay, so thank God we didn't have cameras or videos, back then. Anyway, and so both of us are sober, successful women now. So yeah, when Rick went to Folsom Prison, I was at New Folsom Prison.
Okay.
As a program technician in the records office. So I've always loved criminal justice, and so I processed Sirhan's prison file,
Wow.
and Charles Manson, Dorothea
Fuentes,
and the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez.
Wow.
And name some more.
How many prison systems how many prisons did you work in?
at San Quentin Prison, New Folsom, Corcoran State Prison, and I helped activate and open the other women's prison in Chowchilla.
So how do you connect mental health with the justice system?
Oh my, the justice system needs some mental health. But I call him Lil Don Dick Trader. You can call him whatever you want, but that is what I call him. Yeah, so he has made breaking the law, narcissism, committing felonies a normal thing, So it, because you have to have like a balance, just like you said earlier. Thursday Therapies. All of us are human. All of us make bad decisions. Right. I don't really call them mistakes too much. It's a decision. You decided you were gonna drink.
That's right.
And drive.
That's right.
Which I've done like a couple times. But yeah, so yeah, that's the reason I voted for and endorse, and I love her to death, Kamala Harris, because she helped change the way that women and families who have incarcerated loved ones.
Yeah.
She helped with the families, like to like encourage, a prison reform.
Right.
Yeah. So when I worked in those places with the inmate files and their records, we would see their entire history. Like I like reading someone's biography.
Right.
And they start with their childhood, and some of you have experienced horrific childhoods, but look at the success that you have now. But you still need to deal with the other trauma and abuse.
Right.
Maybe you were sexually abused. Maybe you're your parents, used to beat you, or you've grown up with addicted, parents, and I sort of think we should legalize all drugs. And um, my friend Stevante Clark, because I wish he would run for mayor, or for um, the other city council, because some of his ideas are very, very similar,
Oh,
like to
okay.
mine.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. My next question is, what do people misunderstand about those who are incarcerated?
They think that they're dumb. They're you know I don't really know. Because once you work there, you see how our prison system is based on African slavery here.
Mm,
That the most brilliant people get arrested,
right.
incarcerated, because they just look
Right.
um, at at life, differently. Yeah, I think that um, all the all the inmates should have family visits.
Yeah.
All of their food, clothes
Yeah.
should be quality, and they should get free phone calls, and honestly, I was a victim of violent crime
Mm,
when I was younger,
mm,
because I made decisions to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the crazy people, right? And so I enjoyed working in the prison system, because I could see these violent people
yeah.
punished
Yeah.
when the perpetrators of um, who who did things to me, never got caught.
Right.
And so after that, I was like, no, I see that that people can
Right.
and do grow, change, and that they're sorry, and that they've learned from a bad, mistake, or a decision.
That's right.
And yeah, so then
Yeah.
I said, well, let me become a teacher,
Yeah.
and then I could catch them when they're younger, and and
So you worked in the
and
prison
give
system
them.
before you worked in the school system.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. So I had
yeah.
it backwards.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
let me move on to the next question. Why is therapy and self reflection so important to you?
It's important to me because I have been in 12-step programs for certain addictions, things that I just love, but for some reason, society said, you're
Yeah.
supposed to drink, you're supposed to smoke, you're supposed to do this or that, but you know, yeah. So and I I am also a Christian. I was a Buddhist before, and I've studied on different religions, and the Muslim, Islam, religion, and yeah, the self reflection, listening to people who absolutely love you and who want your best interests.
Yeah.
Um, and to read, read about other people's, journeys.
Yeah.
Cardi's journey, and Diana Ross.
Yeah.
I met her too, like a couple times.
Okay.
I got her autograph. And so the thing is okay, I don't think our brains fully develop until we're like 25, 26,
Right.
27 years old. And so whenever you do something when you're like a teenager, your 20s, you're not, thinking right,
Right.
because you can't because but then as you get older, then, hopefully if you're diagnosed with, bipolar
Right.
or narcissism or, um, whatever's ADHD or whatever is, causing havoc, like
Right.
in your life. And yeah, so call your medical provider or go to a church, but you have to be careful too.
Right.
Because those places have some very, very sick people too, and there's sick people everywhere.
Right.
So, just and do the best that you can.
Yeah. That's
And if
all
you
we
hurt
are.
somebody,
Yeah.
tell them that you're sorry.
That's right.
And ask for forgiveness. And don't do it again.
Right.
Learn
Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn from your bad habits.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what legacy do you want to leave through your story and through your voice?
Okay, so the legacy, as you see with the Dr. Pepper shirt, I am 69, as I said, my favorite number and my favorite position. And so I am a grandmother. I have 3 beautiful grandchildren. I want to produce a Dr. Pepper commercial here in Sacramento,
Okay.
in front of my house at Toby Johnson Park.
Okay.
And if you watch the Dr. Pepper commercials, you see it's a bunch of country, and I love country, white people, and I love white people. But there's no diversity, right? No one's Latino, no one's Indian, no one's African. None of their extra singers, actresses in their commercials have dreadlocks.
This is your legacy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
I want to pay off my house, which is like $250,000, and then leave money for my descendants, my my son, and grandchildren, and to show the cultural diversity of Sacramento.
Okay.
And all of us love Dr. Pepper, right? How many Dr. Pepper fans? Yes, yeah. So to me, that's a legacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you?
They can find me. Let me give you my number. I'm teasing. Okay, so I'm on Instagram as Dr. Peppers 3, on TikTok as Dr. Peppers 3, on YouTube as Dr. Peppers Karaoke Band. And if you work for Dr. Pepper, or if you're a person that can have me meet with the advertising team that will pay us, like at least $500,000, something, for a national commercial featuring disabled people, old people like me. I guess like I like to drink, Dr. Pepper. You should be over 18, and so everyone, should be over 18. Light skin, multiracial
Okay.
people. We
Yeah.
want the LGBTQI people
Yes.
in this video, because I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper.
That's right. That's
Wouldn't you
right.
like to be a pepper too?
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you
This is
so
so much
much.
fun.
Until
I
next
want to come
time,
back.
check yourself, check your mental health. That's right.
That's Moses, stupid.